Hello and welcome in Cosmic Unity Temple podcast. I am Dorota.
I'm Sabina, and today is a very exciting topic. We will be talking about self-love.
Very tough too.
Very amazing topic, very broad topic. There's a lot that we can talk about it, but we kind of divided it into three aspects, which each of them has a little more to it. First one is self-love is purely healing. It's healing, doing inner work. So that's what self-love is. Whoever is deciding to love themselves has to step into that path of healing. So that's the first one. The second one is rising our vibration and doing things that are good for us. So that's going to be
Shifting.
yeah, like shifting our energy and just changing the way we do things and doing things that we like. And then the third one is all about boundaries and what boundaries are. And that's a whole another topic, but we're going to include this one today because it's important.
And today's topic is connected to our previous one, which was law of attraction. Because as you know, our journey through this life is a journey of healing. And everything is connected to healing. Our self-love is connected to healing. How we perceive ourselves, how we care for ourselves, how we think about ourselves. And if we feel worthy, it's going to bring the energies that we are thinking about. Whatever fills up our energy field, it's going to attract the same thing. So self-love is huge. It's another ocean. It's definitely healing journey. It's maybe first we should say what we see as self-love, because a lot of us are very confused at the beginning of this journey, like what is self-love? So what's self-love for you, Sabinka?
So I gotta share a little story with that. When I first heard word self-love, and believe it or not, it was in 2014. So I was an adult, married with children, and we were helping an individual who was living with us. And we were kind of drowning, and the person was obviously in no way, loving themselves. So that relationship was kind of toxic. And it so self-love is about releasing self-sacrifice. In that situation, we were kind of sacrificing ourselves. We were
That's
doing
huge.
everything. We were doing everything to help this person, but it wasn't really going anywhere. And I, at that time, was doing my Reiki certification, and that would be a good idea to ask my Reiki master, somebody who knows about energy, what she thinks. And I went to her and I asked her, I said, is it selfish of me, not to want this person in our house? And she responded to me, she said, Sabina, no, that's self-love. And that's when I heard about that for the first time. And it was just like, wow. And those two words, self-love, at that moment meant so much to me, like everything else dropped off. I mean, it was really powerful because a lot of us do think that self-love or like doing things for yourself is selfish. But I want to clarify a little bit more about that. So when we are pleasing others, when we're sacrificing ourselves, for example, one of our friends really wants to go out because she needs to go out. And the only way that she will do it or he will do it is when we do go with them because they need us for an emotional support, mental support, whatever that is. And you at this moment, you're just tired. You don't feel like going out. You're kind of drained. And setting that boundary and saying, I'm not going to be sacrificing myself here for you. And the other person has to acknowledge the fact that, like I have to consider other people's feelings and emotions. So that's, like when somebody is selfish and is using you, abusing you for their own benefit. that's being selfish. But
So,
right. But when you're like setting boundaries and you are doing this for your well-being and you're taking care of yourself, that's self-love. You're doing a positive thing for yourself without hurting others.
right.
That's self-love. Yeah.
So taking care of yourself,
Mhm.
giving what you physically require for yourself, what you emotionally require for yourself first, what you mentally require for yourself. That you're not gonna go and give the house to somebody who is homeless and think a little bit. Wait, am I doing the right thing?
Right. Yeah, I
Just
think
not doing what somebody wants us to do.
right.
And
As long as
it
that
takes,
energy is exchanged, right? Like when you're
yeah.
helping and you're taking, for example, a homeless person home because they don't have a place to go, but they wash dishes for you, okay? Or they're gonna make a meal.
Or
When
they
there's
want to
that,
make change,
right? When
right? They
there's,
want to make
yes,
their
they
life
want to
better.
grow.
Yes.
Yes, then it makes sense then because it's
Not
not
parasitic
them
sort
being
of
selfish.
way.
Right,
Yes.
right, right.
So in a way, when you think about it, because a lot of times we think that we're helping somebody by giving them things, by supporting what they are asking us to do.
Mhm.
And many times we actually hurt these people because they don't find the way to step into their like strength. Yes,
Right,
it's not
right.
healthy.
Yes, because we want to be accepted, we want to be,
Yeah.
and many times we think that if we will do all these things that they're gonna do that because we think that others think like we think. So they, when you give and give and give, we think that we're gonna get that back. It doesn't work like this. And that again goes back to our other video on law of attraction. So
Yes.
we're gonna link this video to the other one so you can get more insight on that.
And how many times do you see someone doing things for others, not even thinking about themselves? They doing it like automatically because that's how they grew up. That's how they were raised. Talking from experience.
Been there, done that. Check.
Wear the dress.
Which one are you gonna say?
So, I don't know how it was in your family, but in my family, old-fashioned way, man is the one who has a job and goes to the job. A woman has work to do, meaning she does the things at home and raises the kids. But that has, let's say, parents that need help and the garden that needs attendant and whole bunch of other things. At the end of the day, is like 10 p.m. Poor woman
And she
drags
goes,
her
and
feet.
she's the last, right, and she's the last one to go to sleep. Everybody
Yes.
else in bed, and she's the last
Yes.
one. Yeah,
Yes.
so that's when we notice those patterns of ours, and we gotta set those
Yes.
boundaries.
Yes.
Self-love is, like we said, it's healing. It's about inner work, right? So first, with any healing of anything that comes across, first we have to accept where we are, right? Like be in the present moment. So don't go to the past, don't go to the future, but be in the present moment and accept where we are, what happened, who did what, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we are here right now, and what are we gonna do about it? Are we gonna take responsibility? No blaming, again, law of attraction, no blaming, no victim consciousness, but self-responsibility. And acceptance has to be there because if we don't accept, then there's healing won't be possible because we didn't accept where we are and what happened, right? So for me, like that healing work is letting go of everything that's hurting us, all the emotions that are hurting us, all the situations. And the hurt is something that lowers our frequency. So letting go of those things that lower our frequency, our vibration. And we are essential oil ladies. So the ones that we were talking about now are gonna actually be actual bottles of oils. So acceptance.
It's a blend.
Accepting, yes, it's a blend. So it's accepting, let's say, in law of attraction, how we treat ourselves, because we have to remember that if we have people on our outside who treat us not very nice, it's pretty much probably because we're not treating ourselves nice. So both, starting with self, accepting how I talk to myself, how I
What do you
treat
think of
myself
yourself? How do you
inside,
see
right,
yourself?
right. How do I do those things? And accepting our own imperfections, because many times we will compare ourselves to others, but we cannot do that. It's complete illusion. Everybody has a different path, different gifts, different soul, different mission. You cannot compare yourself to somebody else. That's just the worst things that you can do. But yeah, like, accepting,
But
being a
so
present moment.
how do we shift? I was looking at myself and asking myself this question. What in me creates that environment that this person in front of me thinks that it's okay to treat me that way, or ask me to do this or that, or ask me to do all that? And when I realized that I create that environment, that I allow that, then my self work, my self healing started. Meditation and slowly setting boundaries. And it wasn't, no, I'm not washing the dishes. No, I'm not gonna do that. No, it was more like, how can we work together to move through the day, doing what we need to do separately, and how do we work together at home with kids, with the chores in the house, to bring more peace.
Topic.
And
That's, like when you said that, without causing chaos and revolting, because that's not going to work. But for me, as as a healer person or healing practitioner, I know that I've been wounded, and I see myself as someone who does have wounds, and I also see others as that. So if somebody else is not, acting out of balance, I always bring that in. I always think, okay, this person has been wounded, and I'm not going to allow that to affect me or to make me feel more hurt, or, and like on my journey, I would ask a lot guidance for my dreams, and my dreams brought me so much guidance and so much understanding to other people, to myself, like this really deep insight about things that help me move through stuff, like some really, really crazy information. But, like, let's say for a husband, uh, many guys in the past lifetimes, they never were married. They didn't have wives. Okay. So like being in a relationship as marriage, many times to these men is completely new, completely something that they've never done. They don't know how to treat a wife. They don't know what a wife is. They don't know how to live with the kids. They just, so that really helped. That piece of information really helped me to embrace that and be like, oh, poor guy. And that helped me have a lot of compassion and just, understanding the opposite side. There's a lot of information out there, so just find what really speaks to you and move through that. So when we're doing in the work, we got to do it in a way that we don't hurt others. It's like being really responsible how we speak, what language we use. Like even yelling, that's an energy, and it can be very intense on other people when we scream. Accepting all of who we are, and that's something that we later on in the journey understand. But there's this divine plan that I wanted to touch upon. Like there's a divine plan. We've been in places because we had to be there to learn. So we can't be like, I regret, I could have, should have, would have. That's no. There's a divine plan with every single thing that we do. So, stepping in that present time, and then forgiveness, another oil. Gratitude, practicing gratitude. Be grateful. Don't, not focusing on the negative, but focusing on the things that we have.
Even if it's
Okay.
just one thing a day that you can
Yes.
come up with
Right.
that you are grateful for. Even having that man in your life, that person next to you, talking to you, doing things with you, walking the same path with you, being grateful for having that person in your life,
Right.
and for them to have that strength to actually keep up with you. Because, like between myself and Sabinka, when you walk on this path and you have the sudden realization that, oh, maybe I should do some healing or do stuff spiritual. Not every man is built like to step into it right with you, because they're there could be coming from different space, and their journey is, or they function in your relationship could be just a supportive one, and they may not understand fully where you're coming from or why is it always so deep with you.
Women were programmed to just do work, do serve. And then men was programmed to be somewhere else and work, hunt, whatever. And that family life is just, it's hard. But like, yeah, like when they choose to be there, there's something, and we gotta cherish that no matter what, and just be grateful for each other and express that. That makes me think of something important too. Like, okay, so when you're talking to other people, and when you're using your language towards them, and noticing things like, okay, how easy it is for me to say thank you, how easy for me it is to say I appreciate you. Because if you're not able to say those things to another person, you're not saying it to yourself at all. So like noticing that. So as we practice that gratitude, and be like, oh, I did this nice today, like give yourself some props. We got to learn that with ourselves first to be able to do that for the other person.
But that's not how it works
That's
in life. I do know
no,
that.
it takes work, but that was
Yes.
like, that was my thing. I noticed that, that, I mean, I was raised in a family where we didn't really do that, so I didn't know how to do that. But we want to help somebody else feel good about themselves. That's helping them do their self-love thing
Right.
by us, being nice. So it's a lot of pushing a lot of things that are there that we never thought about.
Yeah. Saying
Yeah.
things though. So tell someone I love you when that person is giving you things or doing things for you.
Mhm.
It's very easy. But saying I love you and have a feeling behind it, like really, like that, when it fills up your whole being and you're so grateful for that person,
Mhm.
and for not only for what they do but for their presence.
Mhm.
That's how it feels like for me to love someone. But I don't think I would ever get there if I didn't realize that I have to learn how to love myself. Because if you don't love yourself, can you truly understand what does that mean and how that feels to be loved and to love somebody else?
Yeah. Yeah. And
Usually
let's
it's
see.
like a business transaction. Oh, I love you because you are so like handsome and you do things for me.
Yeah.
And then when you don't, better watch out. Don't love you that much anymore.
Right, right. So when we're on the self-love journey, we're really starting to understand ourselves and who we are. So we start with this inner work. And then once we, and like releasing things, it's different for everybody, because like doing forgiveness work came to me later on, but the word release really resonated with me. So I was just releasing. I was consciously going to sleep, and I felt the energies inside my body a lot. So that, releasing that and focusing on that. But anybody, like I said, like, focusing on what works for you. And when it comes to forgiveness, it's another very deep subject.
Very deep.
But it's pretty much when we do that healing work, it's cutting cords with those situations, people, that are binding us and lowering our vibration. So when we emotionally connect with somebody did something wrong to us, and we hurt, their energy comes into our energy through this cord, through this
So you gotta
link.
untangle yourself.
Right. We gotta let that go, because sometimes we think, oh, I'm gonna break up with you and I'm not gonna see you forever, but I'm still mad at you. And because I'm still mad at you, that means that I'm still connected with you, even though I don't think physically I am, but I am connected with you. So just be aware of that, like when you're holding a grudge and emotions towards somebody, there's still that connection,
And you
and it's
are a
gonna affect
prisoner
you.
of that situation and that
Right.
person. That's
Yeah.
very important thing to find a way when the willing to forgive can ease out that inflammation in your heart. I'm willing to, and even if you have a little bit of anger at the beginning, working through things will ease.
Right. And
Yeah.
it's a process, and
It
that
is a
actually
process.
that's
It
a
is.
great that's a great transition to the next phase of this whole self-love thing, with raising our vibration. So you said, ease in. So when you do this inner work, when you release, when you accept, when you forgive, um just be patient with yourself, because we have patterns. We're going to be coming back to those patterns, but realizing them and finding them and seeing them is the first thing. So be patient with yourself, be gentle with yourself, don't beat yourself up. When you fall back into the same pattern, or when you do the same thing, when you please somebody again, or you went out again and you didn't really want to and you couldn't say no, be gentle with yourself.
And what do you learn from situations? It's not easy to look at things, the horrible things sometimes that happen in our lives. Divorce, losing job, losing marriage, losing anything. It's never pleasant. But learning about yourself, what it gave you, what that situation brought to you, what did you learn about yourself, and being grateful that you're standing on the other side and you're still whole, right? It may be a little bit hurt and broken inside, but you're still standing and you keep going and just building up the gratitude for everyday things. It helps. Gratitude helps to raise vibration. You always have something to be grateful for, right?
Oh, there's plenty. And like, even realizing which I love, and I would always say to myself, like, when certain situation arises, you're ready for it. When you come to whatever conclusion or something happens, you're ready to deal with it. It's just how we deal with it. And then, gentle, the most balanced way, because when we go out of whack and we go emotionally crazy, that's when we're not really coming from the heart, we're coming from the mind, we're coming from the fear, we're coming from the past, and we
And it's okay if
fall
you
into the
do.
same
It
pattern.
takes
Yeah, and
practice.
it's
It
okay. It
takes
takes practice.
practice.
Even if you're on this journey for 20 years, things are powerful. That's why
Very.
oils are great, because they help you. They really, really do
Yes.
help you.
Lots of valor. Blue Tansy, my friend.
I went through so many bottles of release, probably like 10. I would just go through them. That was one of my favorite things.
Yeah. If you don't
But
use oils, try
those
it.
are my
Are very
descriptions.
helpful. They raise vibration and allow you to be in this excuse me space where you can initiate the inner healing.
Takes us to the third one, and that's the one that's so important, and it's about relearning the boundaries. What's the boundary? And so the boundary is, it's a way, a guideline, or so setting limits, or setting guidelines for ourselves to live by,
And others.
and those are protection. This is so boundaries is protection, is protection of our energy and our well-being from others and from the situations we get ourselves into. So that's so important.
Yeah.
It's a protection.
Gotta realize how far you will allow someone to go before it feels uncomfortable for you.
You mentioned in the beginning, that we set boundaries on all kinds of levels. So emotional, physical, spiritual, mental, sexual, time-wise,
Space.
financial, because we have friends who are, oh, buy me this, or
Are you paying today for lunch?
or you pay for
Always?
everything because you want to be liked and you don't really benefit from the relationship, but that money or finances help you do that. So
It's called
finding those
sponsor.
things,
It's
yeah.
called sponsor.
Being learning where you're being used and abused or where you're using others. And when it comes to boundaries and working on that with people, that can become pretty tricky because I think it has to do a lot with diplomacy. So people, the less triggered people are, the easiest it is because they can understand you better. And for me, the word understanding connects with the crown chakra, which is, one of the chakras high up there, which not, like you have to get to a certain point to really understand others. And to me, boundaries are boundaries, but they're also flexible, like we can be so, this is here and it ends here. No, it's okay when we sway a little bit this way and that way, and like give a little bit of space. That's how I see it. Because others are also learning. We're learning, others are learning, and not taking things personally and just allowing, to be firm and have that information in our aura, like, okay, I mean no. And don't take
You
it
gotta
personally.
know
Don't be that.
self-worth, I
Yeah.
think, goes with that. Because if you don't value yourself, it's gonna be very challenging for you to set boundaries.
I said, I shared in our last episode, I think, I shared that story about this lady who said, don't doubt yourself. And it's like, she must know something about me. Oh my God. I'm
You
gonna
know,
change this. Yeah. But
people
yes,
watching you.
boundaries. And and just remember this, like, let's say when it comes to the sexual aspect, which a lot of people don't like, when you're not aware about energy and how energy works, and sexually you can really harm yourself, really, really, really,
Okay, now
because
you gotta
that's a
explain.
whole another
There's
subject.
a lot of
Well,
questions now.
they say when you connect sexually, energetically with somebody, that connection lasts for a very long time. So people who do those connections because they just need to or want to or like to, and they're not very sacred in those ways, then their energy is really affected because they have connected on a very deep level with others, and they don't, sometimes people don't even know somebody else and they do that, so that's like
Some others, and there is a lot of others. By the
others. Yes,
time
yes.
you are like down the road, there is many others that you connected to,
Yeah.
and your energy is entangled, and
With
sometimes
so many people, and that to get rid of that, to heal that is much harder.
yeah,
So just be aware when you're exchanging those
energies.
energies. I don't know how to, everybody has their own ways, not to judge, but just, be
Yeah,
aware of that this is sacred. Your body's sacred, and you need to have boundaries
yeah,
to how people treat your body, how they talk to you. So boundaries is our protection. It's feeling protected, feeling strong. It's really important. I love that. I love that they connect boundaries to the protection aspect. It's amazing. Be
yes,
honest with yourself. And if somebody's making you uncomfortable,
yeah,
somebody's pressing you to do something that you really don't want, you're your own boss. You can say, you know what? I get that you really like that or want that, but I really don't feel it. I'm sorry.
and today outside there's a lot going on, and it's very easy to overstep your boundaries. We require boundaries, then we also have to respect others. in that subject.
Well, it all goes both ways. Whatever inner work we are doing, it all goes towards us and it all goes towards others. We are sacred beings on this beautiful, sacred Mother Earth. And if you want to be treated nicely, treat others nicely. Same with the animals, same with the plants, with everything. Everybody has a life and has feelings. That's how I see it, and has emotions. Doesn't matter if it's a plant or not. Because we're each other teachers, right? So if you're
Yes,
on the path of self-love, you know, walk your talk, talk your walk.
yes. Walkie talk.
Yeah.
Talkie walk.
So it's kind of like a cycle, you know, you do all this inner work, you learn how to raise the vibration, and then you set boundaries. And then sometimes you gotta go back in there and you know, tune
It's
things
like a
towards
spiral going upwards.
mm,
It sometimes to me it felt like I'm doing the same thing, but it was always different level
right,
of similar situation that I needed to clear. When I asked somebody for boundaries, I had to turn around and look at myself. Am I respecting those boundaries when I requested from someone? And there was a few times, to be honest, that I really had to take a hard look at myself and say, oh, maybe I see
yeah,
something actually that's in there for me, not somebody else.
mm,
So inner work is inside of you, not inside of somebody else.
right,
Just so we don't
right.
get confused.
Yes. And when it comes to that self-love aspect, you cannot say that you're not loved because somebody else doesn't love you. That no, it's all
Yeah,
about you. It's all about you know how you see yourself inside of you, how you perceive a life, which paradigm you live in, positive,
yeah.
negative. It's a great subject.
Yeah,
But
just
yeah,
think
that's
about it in a way I see like a light bulb. There is different shade of light in light bulbs, right? And the light that you have internally about yourself, it radiates outward. So what you send out, you bring in. What we want to bring into our life, we need to first have within, right?
right.
And the mirrors work both ways, negative and positive.
So self-love is not selfish. Self-love is taking care in a positive way of your well-being and of yourself.
So you can take
And
care of
being
others.
selfish is when somebody is using, right? When somebody's using, abusing others and is doing that for their own benefit. So it's the person is not caring about the other person. That's selfish.
Yeah,
So do self-love, find a way of how doing it works best for you. Like we said, there's books, there's all kinds of material out there, and
and there is us. You
we
can
will.
always ask questions.
There's
We post this on YouTube and on
right.
Facebook, and make a comment and ask question when we post these videos on Facebook. I think that's the easiest way. So yeah, we're open. Be open.
We're on the
And
same journey. We've been doing this too. Yes.
yes,
So
absolutely. Still learning and still teaching and learning each other and others. So thank you very much for being here with us. Thank you for your time. We always hope that you take something away from our videos, and we are hoping that you liking us and sharing and keep coming back. Thank you.
right. So thumbs up, share with others if you think that helps.